When it comes to corporate activity right here in South Africa, Ferrum Crescent lists on the JSE's main board today. Vernon Harvey, Chief Operating Officer at Ferrum Crescent, joins us now live from the JSE to take us through some of the rationale. Thanks so much, Vernon, for joining us this morning. Well, let's get straight into it. We've got, as I said, Ferrum Crescent listing on the JSE's main board. It's already an Australian listed company and has a secondary listing on the LSE's AIM market as well. Why the decision to list here in South Africa?
Yeah, Ferrum Crescent is listing in South Africa not necessarily to raise funds at this moment in time, but to facilitate a BEE deal which we've put in place to make our mining permit valid in South Africa. So, as you know, we have a BEE partner called Mkombi Mining, and Mkombi Mining have the option to flip up their shares from the Turquoise Moon Trading Company, which is existing holder of mining and prospecting rights, was not mining rights, the prospecting rights in South Africa. And they will in future be able to buy shares directly in Ferrum Crescent, the holding company, which will give them benefit of the full project prospect that Ferrum has.
Let's look at those prospects, Vernon, because, I mean, of course, you've disposed of interests in the Australian mineral markets, and now the focus is on developing iron ore interests in Southern Africa. Take us through some of that opportunity that you're looking at.
Yeah, we are working, we have two prospects in South Africa. One is called the Moonlight Iron Ore Project, and the other one is a Deloskop Iron Ore prospect. The original owners of the prospecting rights approached some of our senior executives and directors to help them to develop this project through, and hence the involvement of Australian. Our chairman, Ed Nealon, in particular, has a large experience in taking projects from exploration, being a geologist, right through to actually implementation, and hence he has the skills and is able to facilitate the raising of money to do the final exploration that was required and actually to complete the detailed feasibility stage.
What production capacity are you looking at, Vernon, and when are you looking at that full production coming through?
The mine is currently sitting on a deposit that's estimated to contain 300 million tons of iron ore. We plan to produce an iron ore concentrate on the mine. We will pump the iron ore concentrate to a railhead where we'll convert that concentrate into iron ore pellets, and we're planning to produce 6 million tons of iron ore pellets for export to markets. At this moment we have an offtake agreement with Duferco, a Swiss-based company, for 4.5 million tons of that iron ore pellets, and we'll possibly sell the other 1.5 either internally in South Africa, or Duferco have agreed to take that as well. So we will be producing 6 million tons of iron ore.
Well, what's your sense of the political environment that you're coming into here, Vernon? I mean, to what extent are you paying attention to some of that rhetoric around nationalisation in the country and all the politicking, you know, in the bid for social equality? Because it's certainly something that got the attention of Moody's this week, to the extent that we've had an outlook downgrade on South Africa's credit rating.
Well, I think we believe, obviously, developments from yesterday with the changes and Mr. Malema's, the decisions on Mr. Malema and his call for nationalisation, none of those are good for any company trying to set up a mining operation in South Africa, which ultimately probably will cost in excess of $1 billion. But we're very confident that we have the right partners, we have the right people involved. Our BEE partners are people who are experienced. Mr. Kofi Mona has been involved in Aquarius Platinum. He's also involved with us. And we have a number of women's organizations as part of that Mkombi Investments. And in particular, I think most important is that we have granted a free carry to to the tribal authority immediately bordering the Moonlight Iron Ore project. So we will continue to work with those to make sure that there are mutual benefits flowing. And yes, there are lots of discussion about economic rent for mining companies throughout the world at the moment. And I think it's only through cooperation and working together that we'll find the right solution for those.
Vernon, of course, that's just one challenge where you're talking about all this export opportunity that, belies you in the road ahead. Let's take a look at some of the infrastructure challenges that you possibly face in actually getting the stuff out to market.
Yes, infrastructure is a common problem. As you may have noted, the mine we're trying to develop is located in a fairly remote area with very little infrastructure around it. The nearest railhead is at Lephalale, which is 110 kilometers away, or in Botswana at Palapi or Salibi-Pikwi. We are looking and talking. We have been in discussion with Transnet about their plans. And it's not just for our needs, but there are a number of coal deposits up in the Waterberg that require the rail facilities to either the Richards Bay port or to Mpumalanga Eskom power stations in the future. We are trying to coordinate those efforts ourselves and be part of that, and hope that in due course that rail line will be able to carry our product. We are also aware of other developments which involve the construction of a railway line from Botswana through Namibia, the Trans-Kalahari Rail, and we're following that closely. And there are other developments where Botswana, Namibia, Botswana, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe signed a cooperation agreement in June this year about a possible rail link linking those three countries to a new port called Teko Benini in Mozambique. And we're following those developments as quick as we can to be able to decide exactly where do we build this pelletizing facility.